This is part 33 of my series of videos showing my romance novel collection. And I haven't done one in a long time, since May, actually. That's when I did part number 32. And I kind of lost track of where I left off. So I'm hoping I didn't repeat some of these, but I think all of these are ones I haven't shown before. And I would say about half of these I actually just got today. So I'm just going to show the the various books that I got. And we'll start off here with some upgrades. Now, move these out of the way. Here are 2 copies of The Wolf and the Dove by Kathleen Woodwis. This was her second novel after The Flame and the Flower. And you can see here on the front, one says author of A Rose in Winter and author of Shanna. Shanna being the older book. But let's see. One of these, this one here is the one I bought today. And this is the copy that I had. Now, the copy I had this little crease on the back. This one, I think, may be a later edition, though. Let's take a look. Yeah, so it only goes up to 52. See, originally it came out in 74, but this is not from 74. This is a later printing. Whereas this one, I think, is older. Yeah, see, it goes up to 43. So this is, what, the 42nd printing? So, anyways. So this is the upgrade. I think this one is in better condition, even though it's a more recent copy. So I may just keep that one. And similarly, we have 2 copies of Joanna Lindsey's Tender Rebel. And again, different printings. I think one is the first printing. This one here, yeah, see it says with the number 1 on it. So that means it's a first printing, June 1988. And so this is another one. And let's see, this is like the 5th printing. You can see there, since it, they just get rid of the numbers as the printings go by. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to keep. Probably the one that looks in the better condition. Sometimes you can look at the paper. You can see this one looks a lot duller than this one. This one looks like whiter. Well, I'll have to decide which one I want to keep and which one I get rid of. And I also have Tender's the Storm. I have another edition of this one, which I read last year, I think. And this is the first printing with a sort of uncensored hero on the front there. Later editions put like a sticker, and then they also ultimately changed the cover entirely. So there's Tender the Storm. You can see this is the first printing. I bought this at a thrift store a few months ago. And apparently, according to what I've heard, it's hard to get, or more desirable copy than the one that has the big sticker right over there. So we'll show you some more here. Now, in the 1970s, Playboy Paperbacks, 1970s, early 80s, Playboy Paperbacks published not only romance, but also, I believe, science fiction and other genres. And these are 3 traditional romance traditional Regency romances by Benson. The Tangled Web, Escape to Love, and Love's Gentle Smile. And there's the info right there, August 81. I think this one's like September 81. Yep. And this one's 82. Early 82, if I remember it correctly. Yeah, March 82. And also, Avon had a traditional Regency romance line. They're traditional being they're very thin, less than 200 pages, and not very sensual. They're just more focused on the humor and the banter and the atmosphere of the historical setting. So this one's by Casey Michaels. Avon's traditional Regency program ran for several years from the 1980s into the early 90s, and I think in the mid 90s. And they would have this flower motif running through most of the line. Eventually they got rid of it. Anyways, there we go. This one is from 1982. Now here's a line that I want to get more of. This is from Scholastic. This is a young adult teen line, but it's Windswept. Now, at the time when this came out, this is 1982, there was a lot of young adult romance lines that were out. But the Windswept line was sort of more of a gothic romance or a romantic suspense type line. So it's sort of a hybrid between, teen, young adult, and romantic suspense. So interesting line there. Unfortunately, this copy has a big crease right there. But this is the only Windswept copy that I've had so far. Now here are two Galen romances. Originally, when Galen started, they didn't say Galen on the front. They would just say pocketbooks. This one's from 1980. Shows there September 1980. Galen started publishing with pocketbooks around October 79 until around October 1982. And they published historical as also alternated with contemporary. And we have this one here. This is in a rougher shape that I think I got at a thrift store. And this one's 1981. It shows other books published by Galen. Now Richard Galen was a packager of books. So this one's published by Zebra Books, Mirbeau Plantation by Marcia Meredith. And when you look on here, it says 1980, Richard Galen and Company. So it's a historical. And we have Avon Books, The Raging Hearts by Patricia Hagen, with the red page edges. Back in the 60s and 70s, a lot of publishers would paint the page edges. So the Avon Books would have these red page edges, as did Harlequin at the time. And Dell Books would have sort of a green or greenish blue page edge. This book is from October 1979. I also have Love and War, I believe, in my collection, which I probably showed in a previous video. Now, as I've shown in other videos, I collect the Avon Romance, which was a line of thicker romances, but they came out like every month, and after a while they would come out 2 a month. And they were they started out alternating between contemporary and historical, but then they just, after the first year, I think they settled into just historicals. And several prominent authors made their debuts in this line. And there were around 104, something like that, of the Avon Romance, and they would always have this ribbon in the corner. And I've been trying to get all of them. The source that I've been getting them from online, the original owner had put numbers next to them, because the books themselves weren't numbered. So she had written number 29 there, number 75 there. I'm not sure how accurate her numbers are, because, at one point 2 books came out a year, or 2 books came out a month, rather. So how do you know whether one is number, 75 or 76? And here's an early Harlequin historical. This is book number 107 by Maura Seeger, who wrote a lot of historicals. I'm not sure if she wrote for the Galen line. I believe she also wrote for the Tapestry line that Pocketbooks had that replaced the Galen line in late 1982, which is why I bought it. I normally don't get the Harlequin historicals, especially the early ones, that often, but since Morris Seeger had written it, I thought I would get it. This book came out January 92. And here's an early Harlequin Super Romance. This is book number 19. This is when it was published by Worldwide, the Harlequin imprint. 1982. And I bought this today. And now here we're going to show a trilogy. Love Swept and the Delaney's series within their series. So this is the Shamrock Trinity by Kay Hooper, Iris Johansson, and Fabian Preston. So this is Love Swept number 167, 168, and 169 from, I think, 1986. Let's see. 1986. So we had, this was the original trilogy. Then there was a follow-up series which wasn't part of the numbered. Now I'm missing one of them. I actually have two copies of I believe this is the first one, Adelaide the Enchantress. This was from the following year, like 1987. And then this was like a promotional reprint version of it for Clairol. And there's the other books in this particular, the second trilogy, the Delaney's of Killaroo. So I'm missing, which one is it? This one right here. Oops, hard to see there. And then there was more. The Delaney's The Untamed Years. Now I'm missing one of these as well. Let's see if I can see it on here. Well, the Delaney's, no, that's not showing it on there, unfortunately. We'll look on the next one. Because I'm sure it will say on the final, I think this is the final trilogy, The Delaney's The Untamed Years 2. Again, by the same writers, Kay Hooper, Iris Johansson, and Fabian Preston. And there's the whole list of all the books. So I think it was Matilda the Adventuress I was missing on that one. And I think it was Wild Silver I was missing on the Untamed Years 1. And then I have all three of the Untamed Years 2. This is from 1988. So pretty cool, huh? I got these at a thrift store. So we're missing some. Alright, I got this today. Didn't know if it's romance or what. Looked pretty cool though, it's really thick. Lady of Hay by Barbara Erskine. And I think it has something to do with her past life, like a modern woman having some sort of past life thing. There's the description on the back of the book. So I don't think this is technically romance. First published in Great Britain. This from 1986, but this edition was published in 1988. So anyway, it looks really really intense. Alright, now here's a book by Amy Elizabeth Saunders. I had read a previous book by her. This is a Time Swept novel, so it's a time travel romance. I had previously read a Amy Elizabeth Saunders novel. Can't remember the name of it offhand. I read it last year and really liked it. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. And I couldn't find out anything about Amy Elizabeth Saunders until one day, looking through Romantic Times magazine, back issues of it, I discovered that Amy Elizabeth Saunders is actually two people, two sisters, one named Amy and one named Elizabeth. And they only wrote about, I would say, around like 4 novels, I think. 2 historicals, and I think 2 time travels, and then I think some short novellas, and that was it. And they were done, just in the 90s. They didn't write after that, as far as I know. So I happened to see this at a used library sale. This one's for $94, part of the Love Spell line from Dorchester. And that's it. Wild Summer Rose. I don't think that was the one I read. I can't remember. Anyways, so now we have some other books here. These are books by Heather Graham, early historical novels. Now, Heather Graham is, better known these days for her romantic suspense and, bestsellers and stuff. But back in the day, she was writing historicals. This one's for 1988. June 88 looks like a first printing. And this is also Heather Graham. She started using the pen name Shannon Drake for her historical novels. This one's from '92. And this one is from 2002. It says Shannon Drake on there, but you can see on the copyright on this one, it's actually Heather Graham. So that's the original Heather Graham, which I think is what her Twitter account is. Now this was pretty cool. I bought these today. The Best of Laurie Copeland. Now this was a series. It says 2 complete novels. These are reprints of her Candlelight Ecstasy novels from the 1980s. And this book came out in 1990 from Leisure Books. So it was sort of, I guess maybe she had gotten the rights back to her novels, so she could now have any publisher print them. And so Leisure Books put out this line, The Best of Laurie Copeland. And here's 2 more. Like I said, these were originally Candlelight Ecstasies from Dell. But two of them in one thick book. And here's 2 more Laurie Copelands. These are historical novels from Dell. Very much of their period. I love this cover art. And let's see. This is from 1988. Let's see what the other one is from. I think it's around the same time. 1989. April 89. And some more Laurie Copeland. 3 more here, and these are from like the 90s. Historical there. All right, let's look at some more here. And these are both from Zebra Books. I think these are part of the Lovegram or hologram ones. They would have this little design on there, which wasn't too impressive. This one has some issues with the paper because the printer didn't cut it properly. It kind of extends. So I'm thinking I might take a cutter and just do a slice on it so it doesn't get all mangled up. So 2 historical books there. And here are 2 more. This is from Warner Books, and this is from Zebra Books, I believe. Hard to see there, yeah. 1987, Time Swept Lovers. Capture the Sun. This is an Indian romance, I believe. A splendid savage love. But anyways, and the author for Sylvie Summerfield, another writer, 1988. Okay, I'm just going to have to run through these pretty quickly in the remaining time I have left, the 2 minutes I got left here. Just a Kiss Away by Jill Barnett. It's from Pocket Books. And we have 2 here from Cynthia Wright. This one's an older one. This one's Valentine, I think, is from 78 or 79, or 77, actually. So this is a very early Cynthia Wright. I'm not sure if it's her first one or not. And this one is later. Let's see here with the 1990. And Judith O'Brien. There's a nice step back on that one. This is from Pocket Books. And Elaine Kaufman. There's another step back. That's a historical from 1989. This looks like a second printing.